Hi, everyone. This is Mrs. Tripp again. I'm here to talk to you about Christianity again. Today, we're going to talk about the different branches of Christianity, the religious leaders, the place of worship, rules and laws, and Holy City. So, when we talk about the different branches, we're going to focus on the three major branches of Christianity, but please know that there are numerous branches of Christianity, many different ones. So, for the three major branches, the largest, the oldest, the first branch of Christianity is Roman Catholic Church. About 51% of Christians are Roman Catholics, and that is about 1.2 billion people in the world. The areas in the world that have the largest concentration is Latin America, French Canada, Central Africa, and Southern and Eastern Europe. But that being said, there are Roman Catholics all over the world. There are a lot of Roman Catholics even here in the United States. The next largest branch of Christianity is the Protestants. And they're about 24% of Christianity. I think it's somewhere between 600 and 800 million people are Protestant. And when I explain about the Protestants, I have to tell you about how it split from the Roman Catholic Church in the 16th century. So, in the 16th century, there was a Catholic priest by the name of Martin Luther. He was a priest at this time where he started questioning some of the practices of the church. He felt so strongly about it. He wrote this massive paper called the 95 Theses about all how his opinions of all these things he felt based on what he learned by reading the Bible, that he felt that he disagreed with. So his intention was to create a reformation, so to speak, reform the Catholic Church, not break away necessarily, but make some changes. Well, the Catholic Church takes a long time to make any changes, and they did not, in the 16th century particularly, they in no way were going to make any kind of changes. And they were very unhappy with Martin Luther. And so they basically kicked him out of the church. It started this Reformation, the Protestant Reformation. And the intention was to reform the Catholic Church, but what it led to was a split from the Catholic Church. And the Protestants are mostly concentrated in North America, Northern Europe, Britain, South Africa, and Australia. And finally, the last major branch of Christianity would be the Eastern Orthodox Church. And they are about 11% of Christians. I think the last number I saw was somewhere around 250 million. They also split from the Catholic Church in the 11th century. And the Eastern Orthodox are churches at the time of the split, Greece, um, and in the eastern part of Europe. And they felt that the Pope had too much power and was too far away from them. And the Roman Catholic Church wasn't as much about their culture as they wanted. So they broke away and they said, we want to do our own thing. We want our own Christian church that represents who we are as Eastern Europeans. And so even till today, it's still concentrated in big concentrations in Eastern Europe and Russia. But of course, you still have all over the world Eastern Orthodox churches, including in the United States. So let's talk about the religious leaders of these churches. For the Roman Catholic Church, they are led by the Pope. He is considered the Bishop of Rome, but he's the Pope. and the leader of the entire Catholic Church all over the world. Every Catholic church all over the world, he is the leader of that church. And so they follow his guidance. This picture I have here is the present Pope Francis. The priests are also religious leaders, and they do a lot in the local churches, in the local parishes, and they lead the Mass on Sunday. It's like the church service, if you're not familiar with that. For the Eastern Orthodox Church, they're a little different. They have an ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople, and he is the spiritual leader of Orthodox Christians. He is their spiritual leader, but he is considered first among equals. So he doesn't have any real authority over anyone or any of the other churches, just the one that he is at. And this picture is of the current ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople, and that is Bartholomew I. And again, the Orthodox churches also have priests that leads the Mass on Sunday. And if you were to look at how the Mass um, goes, how it's read in both the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, if you held their books side by side that you follow in the Masses, they're very, very similar. There's a lot of similarities in them. Now, the Protestant Church is different because there is not one main leader of the Protestants, because there are many, many different denominations of Protestants. Um, some examples are Lutheran or Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterians. There's a lot of different denominations. So there's not one top leader out of all of them, because within each of these denominations, they have their own hierarchy of leadership. But if they were to pick someone that was the main leader, it would be their friend, our friend here, um, Martin Luther, who led the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century. The leaders of their church service, now they do not call it a mass, it is a church service. Those are led by a pastor or a reverend. Place of worship for Christians. A church is the place of worship for all Christians. It does not matter what branch of Christianity they are a member of. They will go to a church for worship. Generally on Sunday. Some have Saturday evenings, but generally it's Sunday, and it's where they go through their church services. So you can see that, like in a Protestant church, this would be an example of a Protestant church. Oops, sorry. This is a Eastern Orthodox church and a Roman Catholic church. Their buildings are even kind of similar, where they all have kind of like a peak. They lead up to a peak. And at the top of each, there is a cross that represents Christianity and the crucifixion of Jesus. So, rules and laws. Well, Christians believe in Moses and the Ten Commandments. They're the same Ten Commandments that you learned about in Judaism. But they also believe in Jesus brought to them and spoke of the greatest commandments, he called them. And they are that to love God more than anything else and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And finally, the holy city. It's also Jerusalem, just like in Judaism. In Jerusalem, there's the Church of the Sepulchre, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And Christians believe that this is the site where Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected. So it is a very holy site for Christians, and that is for all Christians. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Please go through the rest of the slide and follow the instructions to complete the work. Thank you.